and you're coming off a tough loss last night. You just looked a little step slow offensively most of tonight. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, it was a struggle for us, certainly shooting the basketball, and I think in listen, they're coming on back-to-back too. So, but the emotion of the game last night, the overtime, all that stuff, goes into it. Generally the first thing that's going to go is going to be your offense. To me, I thought we tried to play the right way. I thought we tried to move the ball. We did not shoot it particularly well, but the thing for me is in those moments, the one thing we got to do a better job relying on is our defense. And I thought that first quarter was a 30-point quarter, and I think that third quarter for them was 35 points. And we were better the other two quarters. I want to go back and see how much it was, whether they missed shots or we defended well. But I thought that, we didn't protect the rim well enough, in terms of the support on rolls and drives. And then I thought the other part of it was we fouled too much. And we've got to find a way to clean that up because it was like last night, the same thing, the fouling. And we just got to have better positioning with our hands and our feet, and we've got to be more disciplined in those situations.
Did it feel like you maybe lost an opportunity a little bit just with Jokic getting ejected to steal a game that maybe you feel like you could have had or something like that? Or do you not view it?
I don't view it that way. We're in a back-to-back. They're a good team. They've got good players. They had two guys out. We had two guys out. It's really about the guys that are competing on the court at that point in time. So we didn't do enough to win the game. They did. You give them credit for that. But I think you still have to go out there and play and do, regardless who's out there, you still have to do the things that are necessary to put yourself in that situation.
Conversely, Billy, do you think it had a impact on the way they played, motivational-wise, their leader, their best player, gets ejected early in the game like that?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It could have. I don't know. They've got like some veteran guys that have been around, so they probably know how to step up, in different situations. But I don't know how they felt about it. It may have, but I don't know.
Just to follow up on that, it's obviously not your team and everything, but have you ever seen a former MVP that ejected from a game early in a game for something he said?
Yeah, I have no idea what he said, what happened, or anything else. Yeah, I don't know. So it's hard for me to sit there and say. Yeah, I know, but I don't know what was said. You know what I mean? That's the thing that, I don't know if that. And again, I have no idea, but I would imagine whatever he said, certainly, at least in the officials' minds, warranted it. Maybe it should have been one tech. I don't know, how the best way to handle it because I really don't know what happened there.
Usually say it in another language.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably been a good idea, right?
Kobe started the year a little wobbly, but 27 and 8 tonight. He's been consistent. Is he surpassed where you thought he'd be at this point in the season? It seems like he's on another level.
Not really. I went out and saw him twice this summer. I was really impressed, with just watching him work out the growth he had made. I really felt like he could have a good year. I was actually surprised the other way when the season started and he was kind of struggling. And I think I talked about it before the game about him trying to figure out the balance between himself and being a point guard and trying to, help others. But I think he's capable of playing, the way he's played, and I've seen the work he's put in. So I'm not surprised by it. He's certainly shooting the ball well. I think he's taking the right shots and he's shooting it with confidence.
The workouts that you saw him participate in, were those the ones he was doing with his ball handling trainer?
There was guys out there. It was most of it that I was there for. There was people guarding him and doing different things, but it was his people that he works out with in the summertime. So I had a chance one day to watch, one of the workouts, and I was just really impressed with, I felt like he was so much better with the basketball this summer than maybe he had been, in the past. And I think he'd put a lot of time and energy into doing that, and he just really looked very, very quick and really good with the ball. And again, it wasn't 5-on-5, but just based on what I was seeing, Plus, I thought he looked like he'd grown a little bit too.
Now, when you say good with the ball, like just tighter handle.
Yes.
Is that the main thing you wanted to focus on going into the summer?
Yeah, I think you always try to talk to to guys about different things to improve on. I think most of the time guys in the summer focus on areas they can get better offensively. I think for him, I think he put the time into doing that. He's always going to work on his shooting. He's worked on playing in pick and roll, all that stuff I think he's worked on.
Billy, you guys had a nice run, 4 in a row, and then a real tough loss last night. And this
Yep.
one. Now a couple in Miami, Philadelphia. How do you look at this next stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got to regroup here. Certainly, I think us getting back physically. I think the last two games has probably taken a lot out of us physically. So we've got to get back physically. Tomorrow they'll have off coming off this back-to-back, and we need to have a good shoot-around going into Miami. But I think, as we talked about maybe before the game, playing against two really good teams, and all those games on the road will be really, really challenging.
Really, one more on Kobe is just it seems like he's really extended his range, and he's shooting these really deep threes, and that's kind of opening up some driving lanes for him. We talked about the closeouts. Do you kind of see that as being like a really big element that's kind of helped take his game to the next level?
I mean, there's sometimes I like to see him. He could be in a little bit closer, but I feel comfortable when he's got his legs under him and he's balanced and he shoots the ball. I do, and I would kind of leave it up to him. I think as the game has evolved, you start to see more and more players shooting the ball from deeper and deeper range. But he's like I said, those are all things I think he's really, really spent a lot of time working on.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you guys.